Welcome to the Oneness Movement for Humanity. Our collective destiny is glorious. Let's work together.
Welcome to the podcast. Today, we've got a great show. I'll be talking about why DEI is divine. My name is Mit Gopal. Let's begin. We are living through a defining moment in history. In recent years, particularly since 2020, the United States has experienced a level of division that is both visible and deeply felt. What was once considered a model of unity, prosperity, and democratic strength now finds itself wrestling with internal tensions that raise a fundamental question. Where is America headed? To understand this moment, we must first look back. In 1950, nearly 90% of Americans were classified as white. Immigration patterns were largely European, and the cultural identity of the nation was relatively uniform. But over the decades, this began to change. By 2020, the United States had become far more diverse. Approximately 60% non-Hispanic white, with rapidly growing Hispanic, Black, Asian, and multiracial populations. This transformation did not happen by accident. It was driven by immigration, economic opportunity, and the enduring promise of the American dream. But beyond opportunity, people came for something even more powerful, the promise of equality, freedom, and justice. These ideals are not abstract. They are rooted in foundational documents like the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, which affirm that all people are created equal and endowed with unalienable rights. And yet, today, these very ideals are at the center of a national debate. In the 1960s, the Civil Rights Movement brought America closer to its founding vision. Landmark laws helped dismantle legal discrimination and expand opportunity. From that legacy emerged what we now call diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI. Over the past few decades, DEI has grown into a framework used by universities, corporations, and governments to address inequality and promote inclusion. Following the events of 2020, many institutions expanded these efforts, but not everyone agrees with this direction. For some, DEI represents fairness and progress. For others, it raises concerns about merit, identity, and the pace of social change. And so, a divide has emerged, one that is not only political, but cultural and, in many ways, deeply personal. We see it in our public discourse, we see it in our institutions, and we feel it in our communities. But let us step back for a moment, beyond politics, beyond ideology. Look at the world around us. No two leaves are identical. No two grains of sand are the same. Diversity is not an exception. It is the design of creation itself. Human history tells the same story. From ancient migrations to modern global cities, people have always moved, interacted, and evolved. Diversity is not new. What is new is how we choose to respond to it. And this brings us to a deeper perspective, a spiritual one. Across cultures and religions, we find a common message that all human beings share a fundamental unity. Whether it is the teaching that we are created in the image of God, or the idea that the same divine essence exists within each of us, the message is clear. We are more alike than we are different. This truth has profound implications. If we are equal at our core, then equality is not just a legal principle, it is a moral one. If we share a common humanity, then inclusivity is not just a policy, it is a responsibility. And if democracy is truly government of the people, by the people, for the people, then it must include all people. Because without inclusivity, democracy weakens. When people feel excluded, trust erodes. When trust erodes, division grows. And when division grows, nations struggle. But there is another path. We can choose to see diversity not as a threat, but as a strength. We can choose to build systems that reflect the full richness of our societies. We can choose to align our actions with our highest ideals. Other nations have taken steps in this direction. Canada, for example, embraced multiculturalism decades ago and has worked to integrate diversity into its national identity. The United States now faces a similar choice, not whether it will change, it already has, but how it will respond to that change. Will it resist and fracture or adapt and grow? History teaches us that great nations do not fall simply because they evolve. They fall when they fail to adapt. Today, America stands at a crossroads. The path forward will not be easy. It will require dialogue, humility, and a willingness to listen. It will require courage, not just political courage, but moral courage. But if the nation can rise to this challenge, if it can align its founding ideals with its present reality, it may not only endure, but emerge stronger than before. Let me leave you with this thought. Unity in diversity is not a weakness. It is the foundation of a resilient, just, and thriving society. The future is not something that happens to us. It is something we create together.
Thanks for listening. If you'd like to listen to more content on the Oneness Movement, be sure to subscribe and leave a comment. See you next time.